know which one of you yee head-ass dorks didn't vote Derek into the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Tell him I want smoke when I see him, and he better keep that same energy. How you gonna sit here and tell me my boy Derek not a Hall of Famer? You crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Jeter will be going into Cooperstown, but not unanimously. There were 397 voters, and 396 of them said that Derek Jeter is certainly a Hall of Famer. To the person that was a jerk and decided that Derek Jeter is not a Hall of Famer, I would kindly like to ask him, what did Derek Jeter not do to categorize himself as a Hall of Famer? And not only that, what would he have to do to become a Hall of Famer? If there's one thing that I know, it's that if this particular voter was a college professor, he'd be the one that you want to avoid. Because if Derek Jeter was not a Hall of Famer, you ain't getting an A in his class. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Derek Jeter's induction into Cooperstown as he will make that trip, and what went right and what went wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, there is quite a bit to talk about today. This is not going to be anywhere as long as yesterday's video is going to be. I'm probably going to not record Thursday, and then Friday will be my WWE Royal Rumble predictions as we make our way to Royal Rumble weekend. There is some news, and quite some news. Now, originally this video was supposed to be centered around just the Derek Jeter situation. Obviously, Derek Jeter is going to be inducted into Cooperstown. Very, very well deserved. And you couldn't really say much else about Derek Jeter that anyone hasn't said already. However, there were 397 voters, and 396 of them said yes, which means that somebody thinks that Derek Jeter shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. And as you see by the intro, you know, I'm not bashing the person, but I just want to know why that is. Again, I don't know if the players that were, the press and just whoever had jurisdiction over this voting had a select number of people that they can vote, where maybe their decision was saying, well, I want Barry Bonds instead of Derek Jeter, or whatever the situation was. That was one of the questions that I did have. And again, I'm sure that's something that could be researched as well. But a lot of people were taking negatively to it. Rich Eisen was one of them. He works with the NFL, and he said that whoever didn't vote Derek Jeter in had to screw loose. And to be honest, I kind of agree. Now, you can say you like Derek Jeter. You can say you dislike Derek Jeter. I don't know how you could dislike Derek Jeter. I mean, I've even heard the most diehard Mets fans, the most religiously people that wear Boston Red Sox jersey as a religion, say that Derek Jeter deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And the same goes from my standpoint. I'm a diehard Yankees fan, but I even think the same thing. You know, David Ortiz, you know, I used to think in the beginning that he was juiced or he was using some type of steroids. Regardless of what you say about David Ortiz to me is a Hall of Famer. And I may not like him because I hated, and I still do to this day, the Red Sox, even though the Houston Astros are starting to climb into that hatred level of the Boston Red Sox. It's just curious. I just wanted to know from that person's standpoint, if they legitimately didn't think Derek Jeter deserved to be in the Hall of Fame, well, that's their decision. But why? Was there some kind of hatred or ill will? Were they a Mets fan, Red Sox fan, or maybe they just thought he didn't deserve it? See, the poll wasn't vote Derek Jeter in as the best shortstop ever, because there was plenty of shortstops that were more skilled and more talented than Derek Jeter, and he was certainly not the best Yankee ever. But his persona, his class, his integrity, his durability, and everything that he brought to the Yankees franchise and the sport of baseball as a whole is Hall of Fame alone. Derek Jeter didn't even have to step onto the baseball field. Look at everything that he has done for the Yankees. I mean, it's just unbelievable. So that is kind of where I stand on that situation. What more to that person that will not disclose their name, because I highly doubt it, because they will get probably death threats. That's how serious people take it. To that person that did not think that Derek Jeter deserved to be into the Hall of Fame, what more could he have done, and what would have made him into the Hall of Fame as opposed to not being in the Hall of Fame? That's what I don't understand. Is I'm looking at it from a non-biased standpoint. The guy played 19 seasons for the Yankees. He was rarely hurt. He helped them win 5 World Series championships. And he was a captain. And he never talked bad about anybody, not to our knowledge. He was always there for his teammates, and he stepped up when it mattered the most. So I don't understand. It baffles my mind how you could sit here and say that he's not a Hall of Famer. Now, 396 people did say yes. And he will go into the Hall of Fame. So that is, when it's all said and done, good. But it will always go down as 99.7% of the vote. And I think that that's not fair, because Derek Jeter should be a unanimous Hall of Famer. Everything that he brought to the city and just the sport of baseball. I mean, everybody craves an athlete like Derek Jeter on their team. Everybody has a will and a desire. Lakers fans were treated to Kobe Bryant. To an extent, Bulls fans were treated to Michael Jordan. Saints fans have been treated to Drew Brees. You know, there's certain players that are just larger than life. And I will definitely not mention LeBron James, even though every franchise he's played on, he's brought something special to. In terms of, you know, and what we may see, probably, at some point, Mike Trout will probably go down as one of the best. Well, he is already one of the best baseball players ever, but he will probably remain with the Angels for the rest of his career. But we don't know that. Anyways, that's kind of just my opinion on that. I don't really understand what that person thought Derek Jeter didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for. I think it was probably some ill will or hatred, because it's not like 250 other people said no. It was one person. So usually, you know, when you get told on, or someone says you did something and there's 15 people in the room and 14 of them say you did it and one said you didn't, the person that said you didn't probably has some bias towards you legitimately. So anyways, Derek Jeter going to the Hall of Fame, one of my favorite, if not my favorite athletes of all time, and that is well deserved on his behalf. That was supposed to be the extent of the video. However, we have some more news to talk about. I'm coming home and I see at the alert that Eli Manning will announce his retirement on Friday. I kind of don't get that, because he announced it today. But obviously, Friday is the day where I'm sure he will have an official press conference and announce it. And I'm sure that that will be an emotional speech that he'll be thinking about up until that time. And an emotional speech for so many people around the world and involved. And I think that this is the best thing for Eli Manning. Obviously, the Giants are moving in the direction of Daniel Jones as their quarterback. And that is rightfully so, because Daniel Jones showed flashes of hope this year. He had a little bit of a rough year, but again, most rookie years are not far above average. Again, with the Giants team a little bit in shambles as well. So Daniel Jones is clearly, his future looks very bright, and that's the direction they're going. They put Eli in towards the end of the year because I felt that they kind of wanted to just give him maybe one more nod. Again, Daniel Jones was also hurt, but they wanted to give Eli that one more nod. Eli, to me, is a Hall of Fame player, but not as big of a Hall of Fame quarterback as people think. Now, a lot of people may not like that, but that's just my opinion and kind of where I'm standing with it. Eli Manning was a good quarterback. He was a pretty good quarterback, but he was not, you know, when I look at Eli Manning, I don't think of someone like Drew Brees. I don't think of someone like Tom Brady. Again, you could say the whole cheating scandal, whatever you want to say, but I don't look at Eli Manning in the same light that I look at Tom Brady, Drew Brees, you know, guys like that. I think that those were more talented quarterbacks, and Eli was a talented quarterback, but I don't think, and I don't want to be that person that says his 2 rings were off defense, because Eli Manning was good. And another thing that Eli Manning was very good at was being clutch. In the playoffs, Eli Manning was a very clutch quarterback, and he stepped up for his team when it mattered the most. He was not the best player on the field, and he was not the best quarterback I've ever seen, because Eli Manning made quite a lot of mistakes. But he was very durable, and it kind of sucks because Ben McAdoo made that decision to bench Eli Manning that one time. But he will go down to me as a quarterback that played every single game he had the chance to start in. And that is not an easy thing to do, especially in the NFL. At any given point in time, through such a durable career, he did so much for the Giants, and he's certainly a Hall of Famer. I don't think that his level, it's really hard to explain it, because a lot of people think the same way that I do in terms of it. He was a Hall of Fame player. He's got Hall of Fame stats, but I don't think that he rubbed off as a huge Hall of Fame quarterback. But regardless, Eli Manning announces his retirement, and that's the right thing to do, because I don't think Eli Manning should pull a Martin Brodeur and go play for another team for a year or two. It's not worth it. Eli Manning was not, regardless of where he went, I would not see him winning another ring. His time has come and it is gone, and he's done a lot for the New York Giants, and it's just, they should be very grateful that they had a player like him, because players like him are very rare to come around. Never said anything bad, and again, it's kind of ironic I'm mentioning Derek Jeter in the same video, because they were very similar. Eli Manning was, you know, maybe he didn't accomplish as much as Derek Jeter did, but they were both very skilled and very similar athletes. Very classy, never said anything bad, always played when they could. And that's where Derek Jeter and Eli Manning really make that connection in this video. So Eli Manning announces his retirement. I think that's the right thing to do. And he's going to make his official presser probably on Friday, and that should be some kind of speech. So Giants fans should most certainly be grateful for the time they had, and we wish him the best of luck because he was one of the all-time greats.